what I want to do right now is go over, I'm going to do, I think, 2 readings. I started a contest earlier this month, and it really took me quite some time to get through all the stories and decide on a winner. But I do have a winner. I'm eventually going to read all of these in future episodes of Tales from the Crossroads, and I'm going to try to start one next week. But I wanted to read a runner-up first, because this was a story that really touched me. Even though it didn't quite follow all the rules, because I wanted to talk about like a best moment in Legion, but this is definitely worth reading here, so here we go. Lori Ruff writes, "Some stories have bittersweet endings. Before this expansion made it halfway through, I was having a health issue where my hands started to shake, making it harder and harder to play. I noticed a bit of a shake in Worlds of Draenor, along with a pain in my arms. When Legion came out, it was very obvious that I was not up to par for raiding. I tried to ignore it, but I could just manage a normal. I was in the deep crap when it came to heroic. I would hit buttons at the wrong time and not have complete control of where I guided my tune. To top it off, the guild that I was in collapsed. Folks were unhappy with each other. With great sadness, I left the guild without having another to go to. I played since vanilla, so by now a lot of my friends had left the game too. For the most part, I was only getting into LFR, or a few pugs here and there. When I decided to leave the game, I found a guild with a drive to be the first on the server. Having over $1.5 million gold, a guild bank I used to fill to the top with mats and herbs, I picked flowers when I couldn't sleep at night. I found it relaxing. I gave the officer of that guild most of my gold, the guild bank with all the mats. He was taken back by this. I reassured him it was okay, that it was well worth it. A few weeks later, my subscription ran out. I was out of the game. I was there so long my children were in elementary school when I started. Now, they're grown. My daughter is married and has 2 babies of her own and graduated college. My son is grown, works 2 jobs, and does MMA out of Ben Rothwell's gym in Kenosha. Now folks, don't be sad. This is life. We grow old and we can't do the things that we used to. But does it stop me from enjoying and loving the game? Absolutely not. I watch these videos. You don't have to throw the ball to enjoy football. It's the same thing here. So folks, have fun. Joke, laugh, play. I will be watching, laughing, joking, and swearing a bit when you get the boss down to 1%, hits the enrage timer, and it's a wipe. She obviously watches my streams. Yup. Thank you very much, Lawyer, for that story, and I am proud to be one of the people that you happen to watch to help you experience the World of Warcraft still. I'm humbled. I'm flattered. Thank you. Death in a Box 777 writes, "Took me a while to get around to this as I wanted to get everything right to the very detail. It's back just after Nighthold's release and I just left my social guild for something more. Being a tank during that time, you get to know your tanking partners very well, like an unspoken bond of sorts. So when one of the monk tanks that I used to tank with during my time in that guild extended an invite to me to do a heroic raiding guild, I took it since he had good intentions. The only problem was that there was no tank spots open, so I swapped over from a prot warrior to Fury to make it work. And work I did. We re-cleared and got me geared as we progressed to heroic Gul'dan while I adjusted from a tanking role to DPS. Being more middle of the road for DPS and being the new person in the guild for the past few weeks, I always volunteered for mechanic duty, if there was any. So when it came to interrupting any ads, it was my job. The Gul'dan Eye Killer Extraordinaire, yeah, this guy, right here. So when it came to being neck deep in heroic Gul'dan progression, something amazing happened to get us at the kill. At 10%, the execute phase, we had half the raid down, forcing our bear tank to stand in the center, soaking souls in the soul well. As Gul'dan gained energy, it was at that time my monk tank said, "Hey bud, dude, you know what to do," which I did. So I did the unthinkable. I walked in front of him, taking a 95% energy fell scythe to the face, sacrificing myself in the process to save him as the monk dude went from 50% to 10% health. Everyone freaked out as this happened, but the raid lead reassured everyone to keep calm as Gul'dan's health kept dropping and dropping, all the way to 0, netting us the kill. Everyone cheered, and all of it was for me going like, "You crazy son of a bitch, dude." And this taught me a valuable lesson that I carry to this day, carrying me all the way to mythic raiding today. That lesson is a lesson that I always ask to myself on every encounter. What can I do here to benefit the group as a whole? Because pure DPS isn't always the answer. So to close this out, I wanted to talk just a little bit more about John Bain's or Totalbiscuit's passing. One, to say, cancer's a bitch, and he had bowel cancer. It went into a remission. It came back, hit his liver, and things just went downhill from there. So if you are if you're the type that feels inspired to donate, then I do recommend looking up any local organization that you know of that's dedicated to cancer research, or even if there are certain benefits like walks or marathons that are dedicated to research, I recommend jumping in on those. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like the family had presented anything about a place to send donations to, and that's totally fine. Totalbiscuit was one of the many early content creators there back. I think this is before they even had the term content creator. It was just, a YouTube person, or just a person that talked. He was one of the early ones that I paid attention to up until I stopped. Once he stopped doing exclusive WoW coverage, he did a daily thing called Azeroth Daily. He just talked about what was going on, the news and all that. Looking back at his legacy, he was a very outspoken critic. He didn't have the nicest things to say about Blizzard and how it had changed over the years. But I respect that so much. It tells me that all you really need to do to participate in this sort of community, in the gaming community, in the WoW community, is that you just need to talk, and you just need to keep expressing yourself and be real. Speak from how you feel about stuff. It's not entirely about who says the most controversial thing or the memes or the jokes. I mean, that stuff helps, but it first comes from just that deep passion of the game or the subject that we present, and a little bit of courage too. This isn't something that comes easy for me. I have no inherent talent when it comes to this. Everything that I do just comes from love for the game and passion. But I remember early on, a commenter had mentioned Totalbiscuit and said, hey, you know what? I would love it if you did like a daily thing where you just talked a little bit about the latest goings in WoW, and that's it. And it's different from what I do right now. I do published stuff and I do the weekly thing, but it did make me think whether or not I can pull something like that off, especially in a world of streaming and so many ways to bombard yourself with information, and things like Wowhead too. Those things have become very prominent on how to receive information and opinions and share opinions and all that. I don't know. I question myself right now whether or not I'm capable of doing something like that. I think I said to that commenter that I can't be the next Totalbiscuit. I don't want to be the next Totalbiscuit. I just want to be the best me that I can. But it makes me think whether or not I can pull off just a really quick segment of, hey, here's what happened today. I'm going to talk about it really quick, and that's it. I don't know if I can do that. I'd love to hear those of you who make it to the end here. I feel like are some of the more fervent fans of the channel, and I appreciate you making it this far always. But I'd love to hear some of your folks' thoughts about what I can do for the future, and I'm going to talk to the patrons too. You guys are my number ones. I'm going to talk with you folks about that too, about what else I can do. Small bits of digest to keep myself up and about. And just kind of keep people up to date as things go along, not just giving the news, but just kind of have my thumb on the pulse of some of the reactions of the community and participate in the ever-going conversation. I guess what I'm asking is, should I take time almost every day to just talk about, hey, this is what's going on, this is the current conversation going on in WoW, and talk about that for a little bit? This could be something that I could just extract from the stream, from my somewhat daily streams, and then just publish that onto YouTube like a day or so later. I'm not sure.